And the Harwicks are. Hey, Linda, what are you doing over there? Looks like you're pretty chill.
I have deal and no deal going on downstairs. I'm upstairs.
Can you hear us?
Of course we can hear you.
Okay, well, it's Ron and Marilyn.
Hi,
Mrs.
Ron and Marilyn.
Harwick over there.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah,
Oh my
and
gosh.
that's it.
Yeah.
That's my contribution tonight.
Okay. Well, for those of you guys that do not know who Ron Marquardt is, Ron and Marilyn Marquardt were the entryway to the first 5DP in the US, right, Ron? He's like, yep.
As I recall, it was about the first 25. What do you think, Diane?
Yes. Well, I know as it was for 10 years and several years,
10
we
years,
did two a year,
Aw.
sometimes only one a year, but a lot of it twice a year.
Yeah.
Hey, Todd.
Well, thank you, you guys, for your contribution. And
you're welcome.
yeah, we so honor and appreciate you guys for all that you paved the way. So thank you.
Love, love, love.
Yes. All right. And we'll see you in the end of March at Yep, that's right. At Financial Freedom. Yeah. Speaking of which, you guys, while we're still waiting for people to come in, yeah, so we're doing a build up. We're like generating some energy for financial flow, right? Okay, because this is going to be a 5-week challenge. And over the 5 weeks, we're going to be gaining speed in all of our revelation and changing our mindsets and all of that. And then we're going to land in financial flow. Did I say financial freedom earlier? Kind of the same thing, right? Maybe. I don't know. We'll just add another F in there. Not the F word. Anyway, so we'll be gaining a lot of speed and energy, which I'm going to be counting on you guys. You know how Kirby likes the energy? Well, that was really one of the things. It was like building the energy to get to financial flow. There's been some things that like, okay, so Yami and I spend a lot of time behind the scenes with stuff, and we've seen different methods that help build energy and flow with things until we get there. And so this is one of the ways that we're going to do that. We're going to utilize all of your guys' energy so that we can, when we get to financial flow, it's going to be a big bang, right, Yami? So
sorry, it takes me a little bit to unmute, but yes, absolutely. And this excites me. And seeing how many people are on here is extremely exciting.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you know, you called it financial freedom, financial flow. I think it's all the same thing. And I'm just ready to rock it with everybody here and see what's gonna come out of this.
I know. I'm excited about it too. Hey, Linda. Hey, Linda. Why don't you unmute yourself and say something?
So I'm excited because I really believe that this is the precursor, because I know that when I was involved with Mysterion, it was so many new concepts all at one time that you kind of like just get to glean one or two of them. But this is an opportunity to have both a refresher and to have the option of being able to see if there's another part that I can glean at this point. So I'm excited to see what you guys are going to do and excited to jump in and be able to be a part of something that is building up to financial flow.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So this is going to be really exciting, you guys, these next 5 weeks. And we've got a lot planned for you guys. And I just want to get us started really quick. We're a few minutes behind, but you know what? We're good. We got to get this energy started, right? So let me just share a little bit with you guys right off the front end. Okay, so like we said, it's a 5-week challenge. So every, Sunday night or Monday morning for some of you guys across the globe, we're gonna be together, and we're gonna be going through this journey together. And I'm really, really excited about doing this with all of you guys. I get a little bit sad when a thing ends, like when we do 5DP or when we did Dream Tech or whatever, because I miss you guys that I don't get to see all the time, because it really kind of builds this network or this community when we go through a thing, especially when we fast together, right? it's the best for me. So anyway, okay, so really quick, just to get us started, 5 weeks, same Zoom link every time. And if you have any challenges or whatever, you can reach out to one of us, and I'll share who the us are here in just a minute. But I just kind of wanted to do a few housekeeping things. If you have, what we'll do is we'll go through, we're gonna, we're gonna pull some teaching out of each one of the 5 sessions. And it'll be a few minutes out of each session, and the facilitator for the session will, I'll pass the baton off to them. They will, we'll do the video, and then we're going to come back around and we're going to do discussion, comments, questions. We'll do question and answer, and then there'll probably be a little bit of a challenge on the end. Now, there's some prizes, you guys. I'm super excited about these prizes.
Jeff.
Uh-oh, Trisha's got an issue.
Oh,
Go.
sorry. Yeah, my son is having issues today. He's not walking well.
Okay, all right.
Wasn't muted, I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're fine, Trisha. Okay, so yeah, okay, so the contest, the prizes, the giveaways. You guys, come on. Are you excited about these giveaways? You're like, well, we don't know what they are, Rose. I know, Josh, thank you. Thank you for that energy. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's what we're going to do over these next 5 weeks. We have some prizes to give away to you guys. So one of the prizes is, let me just tell you about Dr. Carol here for just a second, and I'll introduce her here in a minute. But Dr. Carol, and maybe you guys saw the video, but Dr. Carol wrote or put together, and she'll probably tell you a little bit more about this when it's her session, but she wrote the Mysterion book based off of Kirby's teaching, and a teacher's guide, and also a workbook. We're going to drop the link in the chat that if you guys want to purchase that, so that you can use that to follow along over these 5 weeks. Here's the beautiful thing is that she put this work together. She did all this work, and then she handed it over to WOWLife Media Productions, so that all the proceeds go to, WOWLife Church, WOWLife Media Productions. And so, Dr. Carol, I want to honor you and say thank you for all of your work in that. So we'll drop the link so that you guys can purchase it, but one of you guys are going to be the lucky winners of that too, because that's going to be one of the prizes. And I'll tell you how you guys can get these prizes here in just a minute. Here's another one, and that is the full Mysterion teaching. Now, some of you guys, if you're WOWLife coaches, if you've been a WOWLife coach for a couple of years, you already have it, but some of you guys don't. And you'll want the full teaching in your archives for sure, because, and I'll share with you why here in just a second. But so that's another thing. That'll be another one of the giveaways, is the full Mysterion, teaching. Now, Jude was like, okay, Rose, okay, I can cough that teaching up. I'm like, thanks, Jude. Which that's the reason why I, branded him King Jude, because he's the king. Anyway, so, okay, well, little K, you guys, little K, don't get all crazy on me. But okay, so there's that prize as well, or that giveaway. Then we have a fabulous giveaway. This is going to be amazing, you guys. It's going to be a ticket, your registration ticket to Financial Flow. You guys, that is worth $500. I know, and Yami and I had to wrestle Linda down to give it away. Didn't we, Yami? So you guys, that is super exciting because it's a big deal. This is a really big deal. Now, if you're in, Liz, if you win, well, you can't win, but you can always win at other things. But if you're in Australia and you're like, wow, really, I'm not sure that I can, do the plane ticket, get the visa and all of that. Okay, so then you'll get the live stream. Yeah, right? Exactly. That's a deal. So anyway, I just wanted to share this with you guys, just what the giveaways are and what we're going to be doing. So now, how do I win those prizes? Well, here's how I'm going to win. I'm going to either do a written testimony and I'm going to tag it with a hashtag that we're going to give you guys, or I'm going to do a live testimony. Now, live testimonies, you know, the video lives, those are amped up. You get a little bit more for that one. So you can do one of those two ways of a testimony of the Mysterion teaching, right? Okay. And also, there's also, when you share, whoever shares the most of the financial flow registration, then that you'll go into the drawing to win that registration. So I just want to give you guys this information about how we're going to work through these giveaways. And I'm just excited to be able to give some of this stuff away because you guys absolutely deserve it. And we absolutely appreciate your guys' help in spreading the gospel, because that's exactly what it is. I mean, this teaching that Kirby does and the revelation that he gets and the price that he and Fiona have paid for this revelation is absolutely amazing, right? And so we want to spread the gospel. We want to help people come into this understanding and to have, you know, to be able to change their mindset on how they view their finances. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. Hey, Linda, do you want to add to that since you're here?
You did not have to wrestle me down. I mean, you're giving me a bad reputation here, and it could be worth more than $500 because if people wait until after March 1st, then it goes up to $600. So the live stream will always stay at 500, but anybody who gets the in-person one, if they choose to do that, it's worth even more. So I'm excited for whoever that is. And yes, I exempt myself as well as all the speakers. We don't count. So everybody else has the chance to win this, and it's pretty even. It's just you're better off if you're more savvy with Facebook sharing and tagging things than I am.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So yeah, so if you guys have any questions, you can just throw them in the chat or, you know, whatever. And I'll put the link in the chat that you need to use, because whenever you do a, whenever you do a post, at the very end of your post or at the very beginning of your post, however you want to do it, it's got to be in the post so that we can go back and track it. It's going to be hashtag Mysterion 5 WKC. Got it? Hashtag Mysterion 5 WKC. And we'll drop it in the chat too, so that you guys can have that. And don't hesitate to continue to invite your friends, you guys, because we're still gonna, after tonight, we're still gonna have 4 sessions. And you'll want people to hop into this with you, journey through this with you. And then when they have questions, then you can help them. Now, the other thing too, really quick, and then I want to get started in introducing who the facilitators are. I would like for you guys, those of you guys that aren't in a coach group, or maybe you're new to WOW, if you can, type in the chat, either not a part of a coach group or no to coach group, whatever, however you want to word that. And or no, this is my first WOW anything. So if you guys can drop that in the chat, that would be really, really helpful for us, because we want to know who the audience is and how we can help you guys. Because we want you to get some major traction and we want you to have some major experiences and miracles over these next 5 weeks, okay? Because we've been set up for this. We just came off a 5DP program where we've been fasting to get out of the system, to be in the system, but out of the system. And so, we've been prepping for you guys. So anyway, okay. All right. Does any one of the facilitators have anything you want to add before I step into introductions? No? Okay. All right. Well, okay. So here like I said, we have 5 sessions, and tonight's session 1, and our facilitator for tonight is Shonda Dunstan. Hi, Shonda. Can you wave? Shonda wave. There's Shonda Dunstan. Yes. Okay. So Shonda and I've been buddies for a while, and, there's times when she lets me have it because I, pick on Linda. So Linda, you can thank Linda, you can thank Shonda later.
Thank you, Shonda. I went
I
through,
got your back.
that's right. I went through this Valentine's Day with PTSD because of what happened to me last year when I was with Rose on Valentine's Day. So I really appreciate not having bikini pictures spread around the internet for me this year either.
It did come up in my memory, Linda.
Linda, you and I can have a cup of coffee and I can tell you some stories about Rose.
Thank you. I will need them someday.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Somebody put Linda on mute. Anyway, okay. So Shonda is our first facilitator. And like I said, Shonda and I have known each other for quite some time. And she's been an entrepreneur for many years, like 30 plus years as an entrepreneur. And she's also a pastor. She's a part of Firebrands here in Wichita. And she also she's been in a lot of different leadership roles. And so I'm excited that Shonda is, going to be participating in this, facilitating the first session and kicking us off. And so anyway, so let me just read a little bit more. So she's one that is passionate about helping others in the areas of soul restoration. She's an encourager, motivator, and one that helps promote growth in others. And she's also a safe place for others to heal and be themselves unapologetically. So anyway, so that's Shonda Dunstan. Okay. All right. So session 2 is going to be Yami Soto or Yamil Soto or Yamile. Did I say that right? I'm used to just saying Yami. Okay. So let me just give you a little bit of information about Yami. Now Yami is, she's very special to Linda and I, and a lot of people, because Yami is actually the finance manager for WOWLife World. Many of you guys may not know that, but let me just give you that information right off the bat. So she handles a lot. She handles a lot of money, right? Okay. Not only for, I'm making my own thing up for you, Yami. Not only for WOWLife World, but she also is an entrepreneur. She has her own business. And she does accounting for a lot of entrepreneurs. And she's also, so I'll just go back to reading. So she has 25 years of experience in finance and accounting, servicing ministries and WOWLife. And then she has a master's in accounting and working on theological studies. She's a wife and mother of 3 and a grandma to a beautiful and perfect 2-year-old, and he really is. He's a doll. And so anyway, and here's the other thing that I absolutely want to tell you about Yami and Omar. Her husband's name is Omar, and they just got ordained as pastors over WOWLife Dallas or WOW Dallas. Yeah, I know. You guys give it up for the first WOW branded church in the United States. So Yami, you and Omar, thank you. We honor you for saying yes to the call. So anyway, so when you guys are in Dallas, make sure that you hop in and say, hey, when's your service, whatever, and you want to visit. So I wanted to just share that about Yami. Okay, so then the third session is going to be Messina Hamlin. Messina, wave at your friends here. Okay, so Messina, she has over 25 years in real estate and in the mortgage industry. She's a real estate investor. She's a wife, a mother, and a Mimi. And isn't that cute? And so Messina and I and Shonda have been friends for a while as well. And she's stellar at real estate investment. I mean, she was, and the reason why I say is because now she's transitioned she's transitioning into a new position, but she was the #1 real estate or the
loan officer.
Mortgage. Yeah, there we go. Loan officer for Wichita, Kansas, which that's kind of a big deal, you guys. So Messina, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have Dr. Carol Wheatley. And I'm just going to read this because there's a lot. Dr. Carol has a lot that she's accomplished, and we honor and appreciate you, Dr. Carol. So Dr. Carol Wheatley is an ordained minister and a crisis response chaplain. She's certified by the International Critical Incident Stress Foundation in both individual and group crisis intervention. She holds a PhD in corporate leadership from Manda University and a Doctor of Religious Education degree from Chesapeake Bible College and Seminary. She's a senior chaplain at Power in the Workplace Ministries, Inc., a community-centric training organization. Carol is retired organization development and federal grant consultant for over 40 years, grant and proposal writing experience. So if you need more information, on grants, you know who to go to, right? Carol's like, ooh, I don't know. You'll have to book some time with me. Okay, with proposal writing with experience with millions of dollars in awards from the Department of Defense, Department of Labor, Department of Health and Human Services, Department of Commerce, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency, as well as the state and local initiatives. Carol specializes in development of workplace training programs and is in full-time ministry, serving as a teacher and disciple maker. And she is also the author of God Isn't Who You Think He Is. Dr. Carol, thank you. Thank you for all that you've done. So, and how you service your community and the world, actually. So, and then we have our Aussie in the group, Liz Blake. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Liz Blake, 35 years of experience in entrepreneurship, leadership and team development, executive coaching, and business mentoring. Training and consulting in marketing, differentiate in industry leading methodology, Bachelor of Arts with distinction, major in politics and policy, and international relations. Nominated for Dean's Award and Excellence, invited into honors, invited into a prestigious master's program at Melbourne University. Built a multi-million-dollar, multi-award-winning international organization in direct selling throughout Australia and New Zealand from a rural town home base. Multiple reinventions and 4 children, 10 grandchildren, that's awesome. Culturally adopted from the start, born and raised in isolated locations in New Guinea, where my parents were pioneers, missionary pilots, set up operational and operated a nation building air service in, I don't know how to say that name, but say it again, say it again.
Bougainville.
Okay, Bougainville. All right. So there you have the very well accomplished Liz Blake. Thank you, Liz, for all that you've done. And the other thing too is that Melbourne has started, it's what, right? Melbourne West has started your guys' group. So I'm excited about that as well. So anyway, you guys, these are the facilitators for your next 5 weeks. And we just want to thank you for joining us in what we're going to do over the next 5 weeks. And we honor you guys for hopping on. Now, I want to close this off and hand it over to Shonda by saying that we absolutely honor Kirby and Fiona for all that the price that they've paid and everything that they've gone through to gain this revelation. So you guys, I just want you to hold them in your heart for just a minute and just thank them for everything that they've given us. Because without them doing this, we wouldn't, without them having this revelation, we wouldn't be doing this tonight. And we wouldn't be leaning into more of our financial freedom and the freedom in our mindset. So you guys, yes, just give honor to them and honor to God for them and for who they are in the earth today for such a time as this. So now to honor them, we're going to spread the gospel, right? We're going to spread the good news. So anyway, okay, Shonda Dunstan, it's over to you, girlfriend.
Well, I'm excited tonight. And Rose, thank you for honoring Kirby and Fiona, because, it's because of their sacrifice that we're in this place now. And, it's their generosity that, bringing and we coming in able to glean from all that they put in the earth. So this started a while back ago with Mysterion, how the Lord began to put his finger on it. I took Mysterion in 2022, and I believe that the angels are stirring, the pool is stirring again for us to revisit the teaching. And how many of you guys know that when we revisit something, there's power to it, if it's negative or positive. And I believe that this is a call to remembrance. And we're reconciling ourselves with the earth, and we're bringing solutions and coming up higher. So one of the things about revisiting, which is so powerful about revisiting, is, when they crossed the Jordan, in fact, revisiting and remembering. When they crossed the Jordan, the Lord told him to remember. When Yeshua took communion, he told them to remember. So it's so powerful that we can go back and try to bring back some things that was already established. So I think about one of the most powerful things about the word of God is the seed. And it reminds me of, it's a scripture in Mark 4:27 that says, when a man goes to sleep, he wakes up, he goes to sleep, and then all of a sudden something happens, and he doesn't know what's happening. And so that word of God is so powerful because there's instruction on it. There's instruction on that seed to give you direction. And the amazing thing about it is how Mysterion has brought back that instruction. So what's been amazing is when I started to, in 2022, when I took Mysterion, and then it came back on me to begin to start, the word of that started bringing instruction. So basically what I want to say to us is, some of you may not understand fully, or if you've been maybe behind, or you're tagging on and you haven't listened to Mysterion, but I want to encourage you, because the seed that's in it has instruction. And that instruction begins to direct you. And it's just like the vegetation, or say, for instance, a watermelon. How does a watermelon know to grow? Because there's seed, there's instruction in the seed. And so as we go through these 5 weeks, even if it's just 1 or 2 things that you can gravitate towards, you honor that, you watch over that, and that seed is going to instruct you for that next phase. And I remember preparing for Mysterion, that the seed started coming back from 2 years ago to help me right now. So I just want to encourage everybody and just say that, it's giving us what we need to move forward into the earth. So we're going to go ahead and begin to start a video in just a second, but I think it's over 500 minutes of teaching. So of course, this teaching is going to be condensed, and we're going to watch the video, and then we're going to come back, and I'm going to facilitate, and we're going to bring out a couple of things that highlighted in the video. So anyway, Rose, you want to go ahead and cue that up?
Okay, you guys see Kirby and the wave here? Good? Yeah.
The hardness that he had to go through. Do you know the cost that he would have had to pay, of how many guns would have been pulled on him so that he can have a reaction in his nervous system, pull a gun out on someone else? Think about that. We don't look at it like that, do we? Right? And then you realize that to get to the top, there is risk. The world works, and that's why this session is called Reconciling with the Earth Element. But what I want you to understand, that if you understand the elements, and if you can have the element card ready for me, the Earth Element card. If you look at the elements, and I do this with the luminous tablets, the element card is a pyramid, and you see the pyramid on your dollar note. And that's a reminder to you, okay? The pyramid on your dollar note is a reminder to you of that cost. What it costs a man to pull a gun out on someone. What it costs a man to take another man's land. What it costs Cain and Abel. There's a cost on both ends. You see, and he's trying to show you that there is nothing or no one that is going to get onto the top unless you commit to that cost in the world. I'm going to show you something here that is very, very important. There's a cost that is paid. Yeah. So therefore, if you've seen the luminous tablets, I talk about this. And so this is a pyramid, and that's the one that I'm playing with when I start off the, I say what is rare is everywhere, and many studies come in looking for this thing. And it's this pyramid thing, but it's turned upside down. Because in the kingdom, it's upside down pyramid. But this is the way it is in the beginning, and that is why it is the most powerful symbol of man's success. And there's nothing wrong with that. Please don't mock it, because to get right to this top, there's a cost. And Jesus says it like this in Matthew 20. When you know the cost, then you'll understand Christ. You'll understand Jesus. Matthew 20 says it like this. In Matthew 20, verse 25, he says, but Jesus called them to himself and said, you know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them.
Uh-oh.
I heard a pastor say that if you're ever interrupted, that means you're supposed to repeat what you just said.
And those who are great exercise authority over them. You see? I just told you a story about what this can look like at a very extreme level. Yet it shall not be among you, but whoever desires to become great among you, let him be your servant. And whoever desires to be first among you, let him be your slave. Just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and give life, and to give his life as a ransom for many. You just see there, just turn back to Matthew 6, and you realize that Jesus is talking about this pyramid. And you see that he says that to get to the top, there's sacrifice, 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 sacrifice. And the person who can sacrifice the most gets right to the top. That's true. That's true of the world. You can sacrifice. These guys here at the bottom of the pyramid, okay, they don't want to sacrifice. They say, give us a program. Give us a salary every month. Say, I'm just trying to say, okay, I'm okay with my pension fund. I'm okay with my salary. I'm just trying to show you. Okay, I don't want to sacrifice too much. I don't like risk. I'm averse to risk. At the bottom of the pyramid, you're comfortable. Risk aversion. Any man who's made anything to the top, you'll realize as you climb this pyramid, the thing that goes up is something we call in the financial world called risk. But the biblical term for that is sacrifice. Okay, the more you sacrifice, the greater the sacrifice, the higher you get, the higher you get, the higher you get, the higher you get, the higher you get. That's the way it works. Okay. Once you understand that, no one, if I invite you to a business now, the risk is what is going to either make you money. The risk is low, you make less money. And that's why people can get salaries at the bottom of the pyramid. But as you go higher and you start, if you want to do your own business, it means you're at risk. You're exposing yourself, but your employers are going to make sure that they get paid. There's no risk for them. They come to work, they get paid. But as you want to be an entrepreneur and do your own business, what you're offering up in this pyramid is risk. And this, whether you like it or not, this is how the world works. And the algorithms of the world, they're algorithms. God created the world with seasons and patterns and timings. You can never get up with a risk. And that is why people don't get this, that every time they say you're making $100,000 a month and you want to make $150,000 a month or a year or whatever it is, and you want to go to the next level, you'll realize that you come to a place in your life called a threshold. There's a threshold that you're supposed to pass through, and that threshold will always make you or break you at every level. Even if you are making $1 million a month, you'll realize that $1 million a month you'll come to a threshold. If you want to make $2 million a month, you're going to come into a threshold. And the threshold means that there is going to be a make or break. Either you're going to remain in that place, or sometimes to make the $2 million, you might have to lose the $1 million a month. But if you are willing to take that risk, then you will make the $2 million instead of the $1 million. I'm just trying to show you how this thing works. Okay. But when you come to the threshold in your life, on that level of the pyramid, you'll realize that it's make or break. You might lose everything that you had. You might have to rehaul everything again. Your business might have to be revamped, relooked again in a new way. You might have to invest a whole lot again, much more than you invested before. And you can say, man, if this doesn't work out, I'm over. You'll always come to threshold. Everyone goes through it. Even if you are making $100 million at the top, you still go to the threshold. Look at what happened with Trump. Just understand that. We talk a bit about Trump as we go on. It's a very interesting example that I bring to you, that you will understand a lot of things. You see, so, I mean, he had everything in life. And then you get bored, right? And they're like, okay, let's try one more. And then do you understand the level of the threshold? To get that, you lose everything to get that. And that's this. That's this. There's no difference between that and me walking this chairman to the car park and him giving me something to do that will cost me more than I can imagine. But if I do it, I get excited, because if I do it, I know I'm on the other side. Think about that, because that is the way the world works. Now, you might not like that, but you deal with that every single day. So the first, this is called being reconciled with the earth element. Okay, being reconciled with the earth element. What does it mean? That this is the way the world works. Sacrifice forces you to come up higher. Now watch this. Okay, once you understand that, then you can get to Matthew 6, because Matthew 6, he's saying what the Gentiles are sacrificing for. Okay, what they're doing for, your father looks at you and says, you need that. But there is a condition, there's a caveat. And this is the caveat and the condition. Okay. Now listen carefully, okay? So he says, therefore, do not worry about what you shall eat, in verse 20, is it 20, 30, 31? Yeah? 31, yeah. Therefore, do not worry about what you shall eat, what you shall drink, or what you shall wear. After all these things the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knows that you need all, not part of it, all these things. So what is laid before you is the whole world. Watch this. But, that's the caveat. Okay, anytime you hear a but, you're like, oh, I got to listen to this. Okay. But seek first, and this is important to understand. But this should be your priority. Does it say seek first Jesus? Does it say Jesus say to get this you got to seek me? He says follow after me. Following after him is the cross. That's what he's saying here. Okay. He says seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Now people have completely misunderstood this, because the word there is literally, if you want to get into this realm that he's offering you, and believe me, there's a realm like this, and we live in this realm, you got to seek his kingdom, that the dominion, I like the word a king's dynamics. Dominion is the king's dynamics. What are the dynamics of how this works? Okay, you have to seek the dynamics of the kingdom, a king's dynamics, to have authority again, to have power again. What are the dynamics? There are certain principles that work. And Jesus spoke about those principles in Matthew 20. And he said, look, I want you to know that the Gentiles, the way they work is the pyramid. They rule over their people. But that's not what this thing works. my kingdom will work this way. Okay, and this is the right way to look at the earth element at wow. It says it's an upside down pyramid. What is rare is everywhere. Okay. Now he says, this is how you're going to do this. You need to understand that you got to seek the king's dynamics, because he says, now the greatest of you. So the one on top, okay, is the one that comes to the top here, to the bottom, but it's turned around. So he says, this king who was on top, the guy who's a king on top, he now needs to be as a servant. And he needs to be able to serve. You see? And then he says, and here is where the magic comes in. Because he says, you got to seek first the dynamics of the kingdom. Okay? For he wants to give you all things. He wants to add all those things that Gentiles are seeking after. Okay? That they've sacrificed much to get. They've sacrificed their friends, they've sacrificed their relationships, they've sacrificed their marriages, they've sacrificed their children, they've sacrificed so much. There's a massive sacrifice. They're striving to get up there, but your Heavenly Father knows you need it. But you need to understand this is the caveat, that you need to align with His heart. And His heart is, you got to seek ye first the kingdom of God, the dynamics, and His righteousness. And that word righteousness is dikaiosene. And so this is what's important. Therefore, so he says, and it's righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. All these things should be added to you. Now that's the story of my life. Because once you understand the dynamics and you seek first righteousness, wow, that is such a powerful. Righteousness is not goodness. If you listen to WOWLife Mysterion, righteousness is dikaiosene, means justice. The justification, the justice in His kingdom. And justice is not standing for talking points on abortion. Or justice is not standing on talking points for gun control or no gun control. Those are just news. Like, that's just because you're fervent about abortion or life or pro-life, that's not justice. There are deeper things if you discern. Just let's talk about life, the pro-life issue. And I can tell you that some of it is.
Okay. We had to cut that just a little bit short, just for the sake of time, and because we want to also hear from everyone here. So let me go over just a little bit of the summary of that video. So basically, Kay talked about the Earth module of success and rank, sacrifice, justice, serving others, power and authority, risk and reward, and a threshold. So I want to hone in on two specific things, sacrifice and the threshold. So when Kirby talked about, the pyramid, basically it's an upside down pyramid, and we know that's been the module of success, the pyramid. And he talked about sacrifice. Every time we sacrifice, there's growth. Sacrifice, growth, sacrifice. And so we climb up. So when we think about sacrifice, I know this has kind of been deemed a little taboo to many, that word sacrifice. Actually, and most of you guys probably know what this means, but to sacrifice is an act of offering something up, something valuable. It also means to suffer loss or to renounce. So when I think about sacrifice, I think about the rich young ruler's challenge. When Yeshua challenged him, it was kind of hard for him to give up some of those things that he had, because some of those things, made up his identity. So what I want to ask you guys is, so thinking about sacrifice, it can look like so many things. And so, Messina, if you could go ahead and put those words into the screen. So I want you guys to think about this with your sacrifices. So your sacrifices can look like your environment, relationships, lifestyle, time, financial stewardship, health, community, and even perspective. So I'll go first because with things that I have been challenged with sacrificing would be, one would be my perspective and also my health. I remember a lady was at a business meeting and she was talking how she has to give when she gives direction to her team, sometimes she has to sacrifice her perspective because not everybody's going to take that and they're going to run with it. So some things you have to give up because sometimes you think, well, never forget what you don't know. And you have to work through the insecurity of sacrificing that. So I want to ask you guys, when you think Messina has those on the screen. So if you needed to open that back up, if you can think about what would be your next level of sacrifice, because we sacrifice, we grow. We sacrifice, we grow. And if you guys want, you can either type it in or we can also ask people to share what they feel like. Some of you guys may have all of them. Some of you guys may have one or two, but what do you feel like that would be your greatest challenge right now when it comes to sacrificing?
Yeah, and those of you guys that want to share, just raise your hand, your reaction hand at the bottom of your screen. You'll see where it'll say raise your hand. You can do that and we'll start like taking your guys' comments. That'd be great.
I can't find my hand, Rose.
It's there, Linda. Go right ahead. You share.
Okay, so I will tell you that the most profound thing I had to give up was being prideful about being clearance queen, because I always felt like it was my good stewardship that got me where I am today, as well as giving and tithing and all that kind of stuff. And so when Kirby said that he paid somebody more money for the shirt that he had handmade, like 10 times more money than it was really worth, and he fasted and didn't eat food for a week to be able to afford to give that guy premium price. It was like he stabbed me in my heart, because I thought of all those times I wheeled and dealed thinking I was doing so much for the kingdom of God to get that really good deal so that I could just do more with the money he'd given me. So for me, it was the revelation that I was in pride about being a clearance queen instead of asking God what he wanted me to do for the people that were serving me in that way. So I had to straighten out my stinking thinking.
That's awesome, Linda. Thank you for sharing that. Dorothy, you want to go?
Yes.
Okay.
First thing I thought of was something from a long time ago that I just wanted to share, because the word sacrifice in my lips when I was pregnant and we were deciding who was going to be able to stay at home. My husband said I had stronger claws, so, longer nails. So she wanted being stay-at-home mom instead of stay-at-home dad. And at first I started saying I was making a little bit more than he was at the time. It was 50-50. I was installing computer systems in hotels, and to be a stay-at-home mom, it was going to be a sacrifice. And quickly the Lord changed my words to being an investment. So it's an investment for my family, for me to be without that. Well, right now I'm 62 and my husband hasn't been working so much the past 3 years. And I didn't for the previous 4 years during quarantine as a tutor, math tutor. And God has just brought so much to me: teen challenge, boys rehab kids, and SAT math kids. And now I have 17 kids and pastor, where I quit going to the church in May, even though I went to Israel with him in March, April, because God just pulled me out to consecrate myself to him.
Wow.
And they reached out and they want me to tutor their son. I'm like, I don't do 7-year-olds. Give me math for like college or high school or even middle school. But I felt a peace on it. And so I am sacrificing time with my husband because he's so appreciative.
Oh,
I'm still waiting for him to come back to the Lord. We both accepted Jesus when I was pregnant. And so after 34 years of marriage, almost 35, I know what he's appreciating me. He actually left because I'm spending so much time tutoring. I just had 3 kids today and I'm tutoring till the evening. I have during the day. He put a note on my table. Congratulations for growing your business. Okay, so I made 7,000 last year. I might make 17 this year. It's not
yeah.
huge.
Oh
But
my gosh,
anyway,
Dorothy,
it's an
that's,
investment type stuff, you know.
it is. And you know what? That is such
And
a,
I pray with my students. None of them know the Lord. Even if they go to church, they don't really know the Lord. They go back and tell their parents that they were in tears when I prayed for them. So
that's beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing that. And you know what? And thank you for being a good witness, right? Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. Okay, Callie, you're next.
Okay, hi. Recently, well, first we had to leave our area because we were living in Tacoma and the Lord wanted us to move to Oklahoma. Took us a while to actually follow through on that, but that's a long story. And then also recently he told me he wanted me to give up my friends, which actually I considered them to be like my brothers and sisters. I had like a lot of religious friends, and he kept saying to me the Bible verse that in Matthew 19:29, and it says, and everyone who has left houses or brothers or sisters or father or mother or children or lands for my name's sake will receive 100-fold and will inherit eternal life. So yeah, I basically had to cut them all off, which sounded to me, it sounded totally insane and anti-religious. I didn't understand it at the time, but now I realize that he shared with me later that he said in order for me to continue growing, I had to let them go. So what I did.
Yeah, good for you. I mean, well, it's good for you that you were obedient. And sometimes we have to figure out how to balance it, right? Be a witness and be friends, but yet, yeah, there's a balance there, right? So, Callie, thank you for sharing and thank you for hopping on.
Sure.
Verna, girlfriend.
Hello, everybody. Hello, family.
Hello.
I said, sacrifice next level would be reputation, and reputation on all levels, multi-levels. I mean, just really letting yourself go. Really letting yourself go and stepping into whew, almost takes my breath away. Letting go of everything that you held on to that made you you. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
And that could be me not defining myself anymore as mom, as grandma, as wife. I mean, I just really threw myself into all those things and wanted to be the best at all those things, and really lost myself and never knew myself. And I'm just speaking from the heart, and I don't even know, I've never even said this stuff out loud before.
Thank you.
And, I love the peace that I'm experiencing today and the great losses. I've had some great losses. Many of us have, as we've stepped into this new relationship, new intimacy with the Father that Kirby and Fiona have unleashed and opened up for us. I mean, we have, and it was worth it.
Yeah.
It was worth it all. It was worth all the sacrifice, all the losses. It's been worth it. I'd do it again.
Yeah, it's
I'm
beautiful.
so,
It is.
I'm
It's beautiful.
thankful.
Isn't it, Vern?
Reputation.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Verna, because you know what it is. I mean, there's a sacrifice that you have to pay for growth, right? And just like Kirby talks, letting a seed fall, that revelation where he just spoke of recently about, the seed, letting the seed fall to the ground and die. And so beautiful. Thank you, Verna. Kristen, you're next. We have what, 1, 2, 3 more people after you. So
Hey everyone. So I'm echoing what other people said, but one thing that has been on my mind is, for me, like, moving to Texas was a really big sacrifice because I really didn't want to move to Texas. But I moved for at the time my husband, and I feel that I can just see how the Lord blessed that decision to honor him and to kind of move to be closer to his family, even though my whole family lives in the Northeast in the Philadelphia area. And I feel like the land of Texas has just like really blessed me for doing that, for making that decision. So I feel like it was a sacrifice because it wasn't really something I wanted to do.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And as we go along in these teachings, I mean, you guys that have watched or that you've followed Mysterion before in the past, we're going to get into the ledger of righteousness stuff, which with the financial flow, Kirby's going to teach the upgraded version of even this. So Kristen, when you were saying that, you were making me think about the ledger of righteousness. So more to come on that, you guys. So you're going to want to keep coming to the different sessions because it'll get unpacked and you'll be able to go back and like remember what Kristen said. Kristen, thank you for sharing that. Sharon, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so for me, it would have to be perspective, belief, and time. With regard to perspective and belief, it's really giving up, things that I do believe in and followed all along. Also, just to serve, and also to help others to see Christ in me, and help me when I sacrifice my own belief and perspective, help me to see others in a different light and to see others where they're coming from instead of my tunnel vision of everything. So that is one area, and actually I'm practicing it and it is working out pretty good. Feels a little, you get a little pinch sometimes, a little discomfort, but it really is panning out real nicely. And with regard to time, I realized sacrificing of time in terms of the use of it. What do I do? What my day is filled with? And then I realized that it's not working out so well. So I have to sacrifice how I use it in order to maximize it to get the best out of it. And so those are my two perspectives.
Yeah, that's really good. Thank you for that, Sharon. That's beautiful. Yeah, stewarding that time, and yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Hi, Elaine.
Can I just say one thing before Elaine hops on?
Absolutely.
So we have quite a few newbies on. Can you just explain really quick that card that Kirby was holding up? Just so they just to get a little perspective of that. If that's okay.
Wait, who are you asking? Yeah,
You
okay.
wrote. If you can share really quick that card that he was holding.
Oh yeah. I wish I
just
had
really quick.
I wish I had it available. You're talking about the earth element card, right? Okay, so you guys, so earlier today, right? Earlier today, Ajay did a teaching on his revelation of the luminous tablets, and we can drop that link so you guys can go back and watch that. The luminous tablets are they are prayer cards that we have learned how to use, and the earth element is one of them. So there's the 4 major elements. Well, in the luminous tablets, you have the communion element, you have the earth element, you have the wind element, the water element, and the fire element, and then the expanse element. And they're amazing, you guys. They're amazing to use when you pray or when you meditate. Now, so let me just hone in on the earth element. The earth element, and we can share this information with you guys. We'll drop the link, or maybe Liz, can you find the link to the teaching that Chitra hosted and Ajay did earlier today, so that people can potentially watch that. And then also there's a document that kind of sums this up as well. There's also an app, you guys. Yami, I know I just went way further probably than what you wanted me to, but there's also an app, you guys, with the luminous tablets that you can get, and I believe the price is like $29.99. It's a one-time cost, and you can, you have all the elements available to you. That sounds awesome, doesn't it? You have all the elements available to you. Anyway, so the earth element is strategically for your own personal, your healing. Well, not just you personally, but it's for physical healing and financial healing and finances and that sort of thing. And so in the like on the back of the dollar bill, you'll see the triangle. Well, there was a thing that we did in Firebrands to where we had on the we took the earth element and the back of the dollar bill, and it was as if heaven was coming down into our currency. And so you guys, what you do is you gaze at it and you go into it. Like when it starts to move, you'll start to see it maybe change the colors, and it'll start to move. And when it like lifts up off the page or off the card or the page or whatever, you like go into it and you drop the blood of Yeshua or Jesus, however you drop the blood, and then you're going to go in and you're going to declare what it is that you're believing for. I mean, that's the way that I use the luminous tablets. So just to give you guys, so Yami, thank you for pulling that out, but just to give you guys like kind of an overview about the luminous tablets. But like I said, we'll drop the information for you guys that some of you guys that don't know, we'll share that information with you so that you can learn this stuff with us too, because we want everybody to come into this understanding. So Yami, was there anything I missed? Okay. All right. Got it. Okay. Okay, so yeah, and we can talk more about that too as we go along, but Elaine, you hop right in.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I'm probably one of the older people on this call at the moment, and I just wanted to briefly share that my journey of life, as far as sacrifice goes, something Holy Spirit instructed me when I was a young mother, and I too was a stay-at-home mum, was that always to measure the journey of my life in making the sacrifices, to measure that sacrifice against what Jesus Christ did on the cross, because none of us will have ever had to shed blood. None of us will have ever had to go through what he went through for us. So our sacrifice, even though at times it seemed like, and mine did until even just a couple of years ago, that my heart would never be mended because of the sacrifice. He does heal, he does mend, and the measurement of the cross to the sacrifice that we have gives you such balance in your journey of making the sacrifice.
That's beautiful.
The scales of justice.
Yeah, that is so beautiful, Elaine. And when she talks about the scale of justice, guess what? That's coming in the sessions ahead as well. Elaine, thank you for that. Okay, so we have Barb, and I think I know how to say your name. Is it Shingay, I think, right? Anyway, so we have those two left, and then we're going to move on. So Barb, go ahead.
Okay, hi there. It's really interesting how you feel I feel like sometimes I start doing a thing and then God brings something in that he was preparing me for that I didn't know was coming, like this. And so on January 1st of this year, I started kind of journaling a little bit about just meditations, nothing big. And I feel like this is the year of letting go for me, letting go. And so I just wrote down some of the things to let go of, but I also paired them with something to hold on to. And so like my first thing was to let go of the belief that if I could just whatever, fill in the blank, then fill in the blank, whatever would happen. Let go of my fear, hold on to God and new revelation. Let go of old teachings, rules, limits, what I believed was absolute, and hold on to, when I wrote down hold on to, it was like not much. Hold with an open hand, not grasp, like this is the absolute. Again, it comes from old teachings, but then let go of the fear that I'm not good enough and hold on to the truth that I am a precious, loved child of God. And then the next time I wrote down was let go of reasoning. I try to reason everything, hold on to flow, let go of logic. And then I wrote, hold on to faith or trust in things I cannot see. And then I thought, yet. I cannot see it yet.
Yeah.
And then let go of my absolutes. And then instead of using the word hold, I switched to embrace.
That's good. Thank you.
Let go of my absolutes and embrace the unknown. And so it's my year of letting go. I brought up the, Elsa singing Let It Go, and that's my song of the year. But then I also had a revelation, really just quick, 10 more seconds.
All right.
When Kirby teaches, when I first started listening to Kirby, I was trying to take notes because I was afraid I was going to miss something or forget something. And I've been freed of that. And the picture that came to me is like, it's like you're in a one-room school. And if you're in first grade, you hear the 8th graders' math problems. You may not understand it yet, but you know you're going to get there. You still have to do your first grade stuff. And so I feel like whatever I'm supposed to learn from Kirby right now is what I'm supposed to learn from Kirby or this or any of the teachings right now. And I need to stop striving because God, Father, Holy Spirit is going to help me with fill in the blank, whatever it is. And so I'm letting go and letting go.
Good for you. Thank you for sharing that, Barb. That's awesome. Okay, Shingai, right? Did I say it right?
It's Shingai.
Shingai, that's right. Okay. So
hello everyone.
Hi. Good to see you again.
Thank you. Good to see you too. I kept raising my hand and putting it down because I felt maybe my sacrifice was not good enough.
Oh.
Because I haven't received the results of the sacrifice. So somehow it feels, it's not good enough. And you guys all have been saying very profound sacrifices. But I thought, let me just share. So my sacrifice, having moved to America from South Africa, is the challenges that I'm facing, adjusting and everything. And so my adjusting in my new job is building relationships with my students. So I buy a lot of resources to make my classroom, be the classroom that I would like. I take my students for lunch bunches to build relationships with them. On their birthdays, I buy them a $10 gift card. And just last week, one student says, Ms. Chiota, why do you do all this for students who don't listen to you? And he somehow spoke what was actually being said by even my colleagues, but I felt I want to do it. That is my love language, and that's my way of building relationships and showing the students that I teach that they matter. and I'm hoping to build the relationship that will make them receive what I have for them, if I make sense.
Yeah. That's so beautiful.
Mm.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing the love with your students, because that next gen, they need that, right? So thank you. That's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so Shonda, back over to you. We have like 20 minutes left. So yeah.
Well, thank you everybody for kind of sharing. And I think one of the most powerful things that represents how we can be healed is we can, just by giving up something, just by giving up and sacrificing something, can manifest our healing. So I'm going to go into the next one that Kirby talked about, was the word threshold. Threshold is a point of entry or beginning of something that will make or break you at every level. Either you will remain in that place or you will take a risk and push through. If you take a risk and do more, you will push through to the other side. So we know that we have sacrifice causes growth. And also when it comes to sacrifice, that growth, then you come to a level of threshold. So my question is, has anyone been able to identify where you're at a threshold, or give a personal example of working through one? I'll read it again. Has anyone been able to identify when you're at a threshold, or give a personal example of working through one?
Okay, so Elaine, you've got your hand up, and then we'll go to Linda, and then Nicole, and then that might be it, unless we have more time. But go ahead.
Oh, thank you. Was not a financial threshold. This was a threshold that I reached in my journey of caring for my husband, who had vascular dementia for many years. And I reached a threshold and had to keep going in spite of my own personal health beginning to decline as well. And that's what often happens in a carer situation, where the carer actually gets more run down than the person being cared for. And it was such a balance and such a juggle to keep going at a stage when you knew you could either not wake up the next morning, and there was not the support you were looking for. It was just, I absolutely clung to my faith in Jesus Christ at that time. But the breakthrough brought a resolution that was really unexpected and made a way for me into a whole new level of my life. And I didn't continue being a carer. I was taken out of that situation, and he was put into a nursing home. But the point is, it's what the threshold does in you that to me was so exciting. It's absolutely transformational if you can just keep going. It's amazing. And it took me into a whole new arena of life.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Elaine, for sharing that. Thank you. Okay, Linda Ordway, it's your turn.
So I'll do mine real quick because many people might have heard, but I had to, every time I was wanting to buy a house, and God would have me give away my down payment. And the first one was $1,000, and the second one was $2,000, and the third one was $5,000, and the fourth one was $7,000. The fifth one was $10,000. And when he said I had to give up the $20,000 that I had saved up, because this took months, if not years, to save up that kind of money because we were so poor. And when he said $20,000, I was like, I am never saving money ever again for a down payment on a house, because bless God, didn't tell me to give it away. So I was not a happy giver. I was obedient and I was sacrificially giving, but I was not happy about it. And so, but I can tell you, I was in the wrong city, because I was saving up all that money in Tulsa, Oklahoma, to put down on houses in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and God wanted me to be in Columbia, Missouri. So it was like, but I have never needed to save up money, because the next time when I actually did buy a house, My parents, who never offered me anything, gave me $20,000 to put down as that down payment because we didn't qualify for the size house we were going to get. So I'm just saying it was a sacrifice every single time. It was a threshold every single time, but obedience does bless and it works.
Right, Sharon, exactly. And Messina's over there shaking her head like, yes, yes. Oh my gosh, Linda, thank you for sharing that story. Okay, Nicole. Okay, Nicole.
Hey, sorry, I'm at work. I'm struggling to open a door to get back here where I can actually talk to you guys. I'm okay. In the hallway that has a terrible echo, but it'll be fine. So I actually, and Rose, you were actually present for the most recent threshold that this thing that I kind of broke through, and really actually you helped me without even trying to really break through it, because I've always been a generous giver. I love to give money, like I love to give gifts, but I had like this hang up somewhere in my mind about just conferences, like paying for these Christian conferences, and and I don't know where the hang up was, because it's never I can't really qualify like how it felt, but when the price for financial flow was a little bit more than I was used to paying for Kirby conferences. And I remember when I saw the price, like I felt a twinge in my mind, like in my heart, of just like anger, like why is it more? And then I just put that little feeling to the side, and I just didn't even entertain it. I didn't even entertain that feeling. And I thought and I intentionally was like, this man has given me so much.
Yeah.
He has given me something that I could give him all the money I'd ever earned for the rest of my life, and I'd not be able to pay him back for the things that he's given me. And so what he has, the things that he imparts to me, like it should cost me something. And so I broke through with the simple act of purchasing tickets for me and my husband. And so that I like I said, I really can't, I can't put it into good words like what it is. It's just how we all have these little things in our mind and our hearts about finances. And even though giving, like I love to give, was not one of mine, there was something there. And so when I broke through that, like I've just been overwhelmed with joy ever since, and so excited about seeing everybody in Dallas. And so, yeah, that was my most recent.
Yeah, Nicole, I love that. I mean, thank you for sharing that testimony, because you're right. I mean, when we get stretched like that, it opens up a whole nother realm, right? Hey, Yami, do you want to speak to that at all, or not to throw you under the bus or anything, but you'll still love me.
Sorry, my mouse didn't want to work. So yes, I love, Nicole, that you shared that, because I know that exact feeling about that sacrifice and understanding what someone has done for your life. And when you step into that threshold, and I'll have more stories to share later, but once you step that threshold, I will tell you, there is no turning back, because you will start to see what God is doing in your life through that threshold. Yes. There's a reason we have to step through it. Because it is life-changing. And if I can encourage anyone, if you are in that point where you have that threshold to cross over, do it.
Yeah.
Because that stepping into it, that's where you start seeing it. And that's what me and Omar are experiencing right now. And we know that we're getting close to that threshold. So, but Nicole, thank you for sharing that, because yeah, that makes me happy to hear you sharing that.
I know, that's so good. And thank you. Yes, thank you, Nicole. And, and I've been on this kick lately with submission and sacrifice. And once you can submit to you submit your heart, submit your will to even, being willing to do the sacrifice. And when it gets you to the sacrifice and you step over that threshold, it's like it opens up a whole world of unknown that you couldn't have known until you submitted to the sacrifice and you do the sacrifice. Then it's like, bam, it opens up a whole new world. You guys, just try it. And actually, I kind of want to gamify this whole submission to sacrifice sort of thing, but that's a whole nother topic. But I'm in the process of paying attention to what I need to submit to, which sacrifice I need to submit to so that I can go to the next level. So anyway, okay, so Shonda, are you good to go, or do you want to take Kristen, or do you still have quite a bit left to go?
No, you can take one last one.
Okay, Kristen, can you share really quick?
Sure. So I feel like the Lord taught me very early on in my walk about how to submit my finances and not compromise my purpose. And I remember I prayed when I was a new believer at age 24. I wanted to leave Atlanta, Georgia, where I was working at the time, and move to New York City. And that prayer got answered, and I got a new job right away. And after being in that job for 1 year, I got laid off. But I knew that that job was just a transition point because I really I was feeling called to go to Christian counseling school and go to seminary. And when I got laid off, there was such a temptation there to go get another job really quickly to pay the bills because I was living in a very expensive city. And the Lord literally told me, don't do anything, just like rest and pray about it. So I took a whole year off in New York City, and I ended up being a nanny for a year and paying the bills, and everything worked out. But because of not feeling that I have to strive and I have to make it, my path became so clear. And ever since that time, I've always been able to go back to, don't do a job or work just to pay the bills or do it. Always ask yourself, am I living my purpose? Am I doing what I'm called to do? And if you're staying in alignment with that, the finances will come. And since those 12 years have gone by, I've had crazy financial stories of debt and out of debt and this and that were all not related to me, but the Lord somehow sustained me and blessed me so much for never going into that temptation of I just need to work and pay the bills. And then financial miracles would always happen. So
that's awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Kristen. And you guys, thank you for sharing all of your testimonies. And now don't forget to share them. I'm going to drop the link here in just a minute that you need to tag on your testimonies when you share them on Facebook, on your own page and in the mentoring page, and share it everywhere because you count each time, right? So, okay, so Shonda, back over to you, and I'll drop the link.
Well, I want to thank everybody for sharing. I know this has been short and, was very, very concentrated, but we'll remember as we water the seeds of these words, sacrifice and threshold. And the more we honor and value, we pay more attention to how it's operating in our lives. So this is also called a Mysterion challenge. And so before we end, there are a couple of challenges that I always say, ask yourself, and then we'll come back in next week. I don't know, Rose will explain that. We may talk about it on the front end, or also you'll be able to post your experience or what you got out of it. And Rose will explain that. So the two questions that I wanted to ask you guys can walk away with and think about is, number one is, what is the one thing that I could sacrifice that could bring growth or to manifest my healing? What is the one thing? And maybe Liz, can you type that into thank you. What is the one thing I could sacrifice that could manifest my healing or bring growth? And then number 2 is, what is the risk I need to take to do more of so that I can push through my threshold to get to the other side? What is the risk that I need to take to do more so that I can push through my threshold to get to the other side? So you guys can take these and kind of ponder, and we would love to hear your revelation or what God has showed you that can help all of us. Because I think that, you know, by us sharing, we glean from each other. I think nothing is too small or too big. And I just want to thank everybody for having grace and patience for us as we, you know, step into this 5-week challenge. I'm excited about the other ones that are gonna come up. And I think that I think Yami, are you next?
Yes, I am next week.
Okay. Well, Rose, I think that's it. I'll hand it over to you.
Okay, all right. So yeah, so with those challenge questions, you guys, that Shonda gave you, like she said, we learn from each other, right? I mean, I love it when people ask questions because then I learn from their questions as well, and what they have to share, and you know, it sparks new ideas, that sort of thing. So if I were you, I would take those challenge questions and I would like throw them in a post and make sure you tag it. Remember, it's hashtag Mysterion 5 WKC, which stands for 5-week challenge. And you can use that in a post and answer those questions in the post if you want. But probably on the front end of the next session, we'll recap a little bit just by going back, taking a few minutes and taking a few of your testimonies and hearing, you know, how you would answer those questions and as we go along in the challenge. But you're going to probably get more benefit if you post it online. So you guys, that's the other thing is if you're not a part of the mentoring group, the WOWLife mentoring group, then you'll want to join that group because there's all kinds of resources in that group, right? You wowers that know this, yeah, there's all kinds of resources there. And so I'll repost that, Dr. Carroll's, you know, book, and you guys can order that. And it's $15 for, you know, the workbook and the guide. So yeah, I'll drop that there. You guys can order that. And like I said, it's an ebook. And also Liz just dropped the link in the chat to the mentoring group that you can join, and you can get the links to all the different things. So, and I'll repost all of that stuff for you guys too. So we good? All right, you guys, thank you. Thank you so much for hopping on, and we will see you next week, same time, same Zoom link, same everything. And don't forget to post your testimonies and bring new people with you too. I mean, it's quite all right. You know, we want to, like I said, share the gospel. You guys, love you all. Thank you. Thank you for hopping on with us, and we'll see you next week. Bye, you guys.
Shalom.
Shalom.